what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keep on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Who is this?
Big Bucket.
Big Buckets. Let's go ahead and get this party started, Bears fans. Walter Payton, it's the man.
Find Cole Kmet wide open. Touchdown, Bears.
Let me put it on again. Keep it on fire. I love it. I could probably beat him in the 40. Let's freaking go, Chicago Bears fans. Breaking news out of Chicago.
I think I can fit in as like a water boy for the Panthers or something. I'm not talking about getting on the field,
Put it right behind me so every time I'm on the podcast, like, you got Isaiah Fry's jersey? Hell yeah, I do.
Let's go.
You got on with the Bears organization. You got high up. Would I be like a water boy for you or something? What's going on? What role am I? Comment bear down if you love Keep on the Mic and if you love the Chicago Bears.
Who is this?
Georgia's house.
And as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.
Hey, what is going on, Chicago Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another Friday night live stream right here on the podcast. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you also do me a huge favor and like the live stream as well. I would really appreciate it. So obviously the topic on today's live stream right here on Keep on the Mic, the rumor kind of going around is that the Bears would likely take Rome Odunze, my bad, if he is there at number 9. Once again, thank you guys so much for joining me for a Friday night live stream. Once again, if you guys have any questions, you go ahead and shoot them in the chat. Obviously, I have kind of like a new setup going on here in my little studio. So I'll be looking a lot on the screen, but also trying to look in the camera as well. So I want to just kind of go over what I saw on Twitter just recently about this rumor going around saying the Bears would likely take Rome Odunze if he is there at 9. Once again, I think Rome Odunze has been one of those guys that's kind of been rumored that was on the Chicago Bears wish list. And not to be like this, he is an outstanding player. Rome Odunze would be really nice alongside DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, right? I think it would give Caleb Williams zero excuses here within the Chicago Bears offense. So let me go ahead and share with you guys what I saw. So basically, this was according to Josh Schrock. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. He is a Chicago Bears insider on NBC Sports Chicago. He's had this to say, Bears fans. He said, if Rome Odunze is there at 9, I think the Bears will take Rome Odunze. They want another blue player. They consider Rome Odunze a blue chip player. If Caleb's as good as you think he is, you're not drafting in this area again. I really think it'll come down to Odunze or all if he's there. So obviously Josh Schrock, I wouldn't say his word is God, but he is a Chicago Bears insider. This is what he had to say. And I agree with them. If Caleb Williams is what we think he can be, that generational talent, the Chicago Bears will no longer be picking within the top 10. That's obviously the goal when you pick a quarterback. Obviously, when you have a franchise quarterback, those are the levels that you can really reach, right? So those are the levels you could really reach, right? So I agree with Josh Schrock. If Caleb Williams is the guy, right, the Chicago Bears would no longer be picking the top 10. So this number 9 pick is just as important as that number 1 overall pick, which is assumed to be quarterback Caleb Williams. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the chat right now, but obviously we'll talk a little bit more about Rome Odunze here in a little bit as I go into the chat. Once again, thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate you. Marco C, how you doing, Marco? Thank you so much for tuning into this live stream. He says, the man, the myth, the legend, Keek is live. Yes, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. We have Doug in the chat says, bear down to you as well, Doug. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have Levante Roger. He said, yo, what's going on, Levante? Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. We have Marco C say, what about the trade up to pick Marvin instead of Odunze? Like I said, I posted that video today. It's all a pipe dream at this point. I don't think it's going to be possible. Maybe Ryan Poles surprises us a little bit. But I don't think that dream is going to happen for the Chicago Bears. Doug says, stay at number 9, take the top wide receiver available. If they are gone, trade down, get a pick or 2 to take Bowers. That's also I think would be a good plan. I'm not sure if Brock Bowers is actually on their wish list. I think if the Bears trade down, I think they'd be looking at maybe center Jackson Powers Johnson, maybe one of the edge rushers, Leatu Latu or Jared Verse as well. I think those are a couple couple scenarios I can see the Bears going in. Doug also asked, saying Rome would be a great wide receiver to have. Yeah, absolutely. When you look at a guy like Rome Odunze, he wouldn't have to come in and be that guy, right? He wouldn't have to come in and be the number one. He can learn behind Keenan Allen. He can learn behind DJ Moore. He would be probably one of the best wide receiver threes in the National Football League, right? So that would also be a good asset for the Chicago Bears football team. We have Jim in the chat says a top 3 wide receiver will probably be available at 9. Only if 4 quarterbacks are drafted before 9. Yeah, absolutely. So when you kind of look at the scale of things, this all depends on what the Arizona Cardinals do at 4. If the Arizona Cardinals decide to trade out of 4, that's going to be really good news for the Chicago Bears. But if the Arizona Cardinals sit there and take a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr., that's already one of the 3 receivers or the top receivers off the board. So it all depends on what the Arizona Cardinals are going to do. Levante says Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett, DeAndre Swift. Yes. And that's Bears fans. It's just like music to my ears. It's really music to my ears when I hear that. Marco C says, are you okay, Keek? You seem down. Everything all right? Yeah, everything's all right. Just a little bit tired. The baby didn't go to bed until I think 4 a.m. the other night, and then she didn't go to bed until 2 a.m. last night. So just a little bit tired, a little bit run down, but it's okay. I'm doing perfectly fine. Thank you so much for asking. No. Doug says I can see that, Jim. Shift says watching behind, but we need the OG intro. I know I changed the intro a little bit. I had to redo my little live stream intro. I enjoyed it. Obviously I added some new clips, kept a lot of the same clips on there as well. But overall, I really like the new intro. Doug says Alt would be a great get also, Sean. Yeah, I think if Joe Alt's there at 9, I think I would definitely welcome the addition of Joe Alt. Someone said, Keek, trade down a few spots from 9 and select Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. would also be a great option. I think my only thing with Brian Thomas Jr. is that he really only had one really good year of production. And that one good year was a really good year. Talking about 17 receiving touchdowns. The dude absolutely went off, right? But I think when I look at a guy like Rome Odunze, he has done it at a more consistent level. Someone said Caleb better be as advertised. And yeah, that's the whole point of getting another blue chip player, because if they believe that Caleb Williams is that franchise player, that generational talent that can get the Bears over the hump, talking about Super Bowls here, this pick, number 9 overall, is going to be a really important pick for the Chicago Bears. Levante Rogers says Arizona Cardinals at 4 and Los Angeles Chargers at 5. Yeah, and the Chargers are also very much in play for a wide receiver as well. And that's the big thing. If Cardinals stay and take a receiver and then the Chargers take a receiver, I think our dream of getting Rome Odunze at 9 is probably not going to live up to that hype, right? So it's really all depending on what the Arizona Cardinals do, in my opinion. Blue Bay says, what if Caleb Williams is a bust? And we move on and we pick another quarterback. I think that's the one thing that all of us Bears fans can agree on, is that we are used to the misery. We are used to disappointment at the quarterback position. If he happens to be a bust for this franchise, which I hope he's not, I'm just going in with all positive thoughts with Caleb Williams. At this time, it's going to work. But if he is a bust, then we move on and we pick another quarterback. So Marco C says, what about Rice as wide receiver later in the draft and pick the edge at 9? Create a devastating defense. Yeah, and that's another big option, right? If Dallas Turner falls to number 9, if he gets past the Atlanta Falcons, you take a look at a guy like Dallas Turner, right? Obviously Jared Verse is a really good player. I'm a really big fan of Leatu Latu as well. So there's obviously different things that the Chicago Bears could do. A couple different scenarios for the Bears at number 9. And that's one of the things that the Bears have to look into. But I think that's one of the things that's kind of interesting in terms of looking at Ryan Pohl's situation, right? Is that he could have a bunch of different blue chip players at number 9. We're talking about Joe Alt, Rome Odunze, Dallas Turner, right? What do you do if you get into that situation? Would be really, really tough. Once again, thank you guys so much for the engagement. Once again, we are talking about how the rumor going around is that the Bears would likely take Rome Odunze if he's there at 9. And it seems like the Bears have 2 guys that they really like at 9, and they're really hoping they fall. It's either Rome Odunze or Joe Alt. I think those are the 2 guys that they really like. Once again, continue to engage with me in the comment section. I do appreciate you guys being here. Someone said the Bears. Yes, bear down to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate you. Once again, I'm going to try my best to get to all your guys' comments and engagement. I really, really, really appreciate you guys tuning in to this live stream right here on Keek on the Mic. Once again, I will be going live for the 2024 NFL Draft. Super excited about that. If you guys have not seen my Twitter post yet, I am doing a giveaway for the NFL Draft. I'm giving away 2 Chicago Bears draft caps. I'm giving away some Keek on the Mic hats and shirts. So make sure you go check out my X account or Twitter account, which one you call it, at Kiata Q. And you guys will be able to enter that giveaway. You do not want to miss it. Giving away some Chicago Bears draft caps. And I really like them. I already got mine ready to go for the 2024 NFL Draft. Kevin says, bear down from Rockford, Illinois. Thank you, Kevin, for tuning in. I really, really appreciate you. Someone said, in that situation, I take Rome. So that's the big thing. Like if you had Joe Alt, Rome Odunze, right? Or Dallas Turner, which one do you take? I think a lot of people are starting to lean towards Rome Odunze. I really do like Joe Alt as well. I think I really do like Braxton Jones, especially considering his situation. Being a 5th round rookie, turning into a really solid starter, in my opinion, in the National Football League. But I feel like Joe Alt is going to be a really, really good football player. He has everything you want in terms when you're looking at a left tackle prospect. Marco C has a question. He says, the question of the lifetime. After buying 2 Fields jerseys, what jersey you suggest buying to be ready for the 2023-2024 season? I'm very big on only buying drafted Bears jerseys. But I feel like in this situation, I think getting a DJ Moore jersey would be absolutely solid. I know personally I will be getting a Caleb Williams jersey as well. I get all quarterback jerseys for the Chicago Bears. I had a Mr. Trubisky jersey. Obviously, I had a Justin Fields jersey. I do plan to get a Caleb Williams one as well. But I would say to play it safe, I would probably get a DJ Moore jersey because I think at this point he is going to be a fan favorite moving forward. Blue Bay says, I don't think the Bears have done enough to fix the O-line. I don't want our new QB running for his life. And that's the big thing. For me, when you look at this offensive line, to me, the X factors are the guards, Tevin Jenkins and Nate Davis. Can those 2 guys stay healthy? I feel like if those 2 guys can stay healthy, those are the guys that are going to be able to anchor our offensive line. Obviously, you have Darnell Wright going into his 2nd year. I expect a huge year from him as well. And then we don't know what's going to happen to the left tackle position. If they end up getting Joe Alt, then I think Joe Alt will be our left tackle. But I think Braxton Jones will also be fine. I'm okay with center right now. Obviously, we still need to find a guy there for the long term. I don't think Coleman Shelton is like the long-term solution for the Chicago Bears, but I think overall, when you look at the offensive line, I think it's better than it has been, right? So hopefully if those guys can stay healthy, Caleb Williams won't have to run for his life, right? So that's a big concern. Someone says Alt will go to the Chargers unless they trade the pick to the Bears. And honestly, that would be a really good scenario for the Chicago Bears. If, let's say, the Cardinals trade down, sorry, Bears fans, 1 second. All right, sorry about that, Bears fans. Once again, going through your comments. Yeah, like I was saying, if Joe Alt goes to number 5 to the Chargers, right, and then you have a guy, let's say the Cardinals trade down, then MHJ starts to fall further, right? Now that's a really good situation because you're basically almost guaranteeing that you're gonna get one of the top 3 receivers. So I really like that. Someone said any first round receiver will be better than Tyler Scott or Velus Jones Jr. I don't think I can argue with that one. Doug says Caleb jersey, second choice, 33, Jalen Johnson. Yeah, Jalen Johnson would be also a solid jersey as well, since he did just sign that long-term deal, and he is also a drafted Bear. So I may have to cop me a Jalen Johnson jersey as well this season. Someone did say that we're good on the offensive line. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I think we are too. I think as long as we stay healthy, and that's always the key word, can we stay healthy as a franchise or on the offensive line? I think if we can stay healthy, I think this Bears offense could be a really good unit. Joe says, so it's hard on pick 9 situation. Wide receiver Rome Odunze. Odunze definitely gives us another weapon for Williams, but it's hard when Flus wants an edge to pair up with Sweat. So can't wait for the draft to see how it unfolds. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Ryan Poles is the one that makes the final decisions. But yeah, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see it. Someone said, Keeg, what's up? I would prefer taking Brendan Rice later and go O-line or DN at 9. Yeah, I think that's also, see, there's so many different scenarios. And I just think it depends on how it falls. If it falls to number 9 and knowing that he wants us there, the Bears will trade down, collect the draft capital, and move forward, right? With the best player available, whoever to trade down, whoever's there after you trade down, right? So I think this is a really intriguing and unique situation for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears. Doug says, I really think Unique Ngakwe would be a good option for DN2. Pick one in the 3rd round for development. Need to go offense. Yeah, I think that's why I think Ryan Poles is going to go back and forth. I did hear something saying that when they get done with doing all their top 30 visits, that they're going to go in a room and they're going to split up into teams and they're going to like debate of who they should take at number 9. So I do like that. Kyle Waddle says, I saw they had neighbors for a visit. Has Rome had one yet? Yeah, Rome Odunze actually had one right after Caleb Williams in the same week, right? So, like I said, I know that the Bears also I heard rumors that the Bears love Malik Neighbors as well. I truly feel like they love any of the receivers. And if they get lucky enough to get to actually draft any of them, I think they will pull the trigger, whether it's MHJ, Malik Neighbors, or Rome Odunze. I think they would be fine with either one of them. Once again, I do appreciate you guys tuning in. And once again, today's live stream, the Bears would likely take Rome Odunze if he is there at number 9. And, I am totally fine with Rome Odunze. It's kind of interesting because someone said that the comparison to Rome Odunze right now is that he's a bigger Devontae Adams. And just really think about Devontae Adams' game. Smooth route runner. Strong hands, right? Not the fastest guy, but just really, really good route runners, deceiving his routes, really good off the break. To me, if you're able to get a bigger Devontae Adams, you can sign me up. And just once again, he wouldn't have to come in and be that guy. He wouldn't have to come in and be the number 1 wide receiver for the Chicago Bears. And that's what I love about this. No matter who you take, they don't have to come in and be the guy. They get to learn behind the guy like Keenan Allen, right? So if you can get Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors or even MHJ to be your wide receiver 3 for a couple of years, that would be absolutely insane scenario for Caleb Williams in this Bears offense. Kyle Waddle says, if those 3 are and all are gone, then trade back, but take those 4. Yeah, I think those are the 4 that they really want, right? Dallas Turner, all 3 receivers, or Joe Alt. I think those are the couple of players that they have their eye on at number 9 overall. Someone did say that we need an edge opposite of Montez, and yeah, that is a big need. Behind Montez Sweat, all we have is DeMarcus Walker or Dominique Robinson. They can very well bring back Unique Ngakwe to pair with Montez Sweat. I think Unique Ngakwe was playing really well at the end of the year before he hurt his ankle, but I still think that we do need to invest in an edge rusher. And I know there's a lot of good edge rushers in the 2025 NFL draft as well. Doug says, if that is the case, that would be a huge win for Chicago wide receiver. Thoughts on Keenan sticking around for another year or 2? Yeah, I think he could. I think, Ryan Poles is very strategic on how he does his contracts. He wants to make sure it's the best value, not only for his players, but for the Chicago Bears organization. I can definitely see Keenan Allen sign a little 2 to 3 year extension. Obviously, he is about to turn 31 or 32. So you can pay him a couple of years and you can play through maybe his 34, 35-year-old season. And then, just go from there. Right. So that's what I think. I think, I don't think Ryan Poles would have traded any draft capital just to make someone a rental. I think Keenan Allen coming off one of his best seasons in the National Football League, so has a lot left in the tank. And I think he's going to be really good for Caleb Williams and his development as a football player in the NFL. Joe Ramirez says, and in other news, Caleb Williams was only doing one top 30 visit. Just makes it more clear that Williams is ready to be. Yeah, and that is truly amazing to me. Obviously during their dinner during this week, during his visit, I guess current Bears players were also a part of this visit. So just doing the meet and greets, getting used to each other, getting some chemistry with some of the guys. There was rumors saying that DJ Moore was a part of this dinner meeting Caleb Williams, and that is absolutely huge. DJ Moore is going to be one of his go-to guys, and I cannot wait to see Caleb Williams throwing touchdowns to DJ Moore, throwing touchdowns to Keenan Allen, throwing touchdowns to hopefully Rome Odunze as well. So I'm definitely excited. Once again, thank you so much for interacting with me on this live stream. I do appreciate you guys. I'm trying to get to every single one of you guys' comments. Marco says, love your content. Continue your hard work. Love your videos. Keep me sane. Keeping me sane. Yeah, I appreciate you, Marco. I do this for you guys. I'm trying to post the most fun and hopefully optimistic content. Sometimes I get on a little tangent of like not realistic, but it's also fun to make those type of videos to keep you guys entertained as well. Art Soto said, I still can't believe they are trusting Flus with a new QB. Yeah, and that's definitely a hurdle that a lot of fans had to get over. I think when you look at Flus, I think what saved him was how good the defense looked when he was calling the defensive plays, right? So I am fine with Matt Eberflus coming back for another year or two. I think the Bears are in a good direction. Yeah, I trust Flus and the direction, the culture that he's built here in Chicago. I am totally fine with it. Marco C says, was fun dreaming with you to have the duo Fields, Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, absolutely. It was a dream that was fun. But now we move on to Caleb Williams, and now we have Caleb Williams, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and possibly one of these receivers, right? Rather you get Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze. I think this is going to be a really good offense here in Chicago. Once again, Bears fans, I just wanted to come on here really quick for a quick Friday night live stream. I was thinking about maybe dropping the link in the chat so you guys can come in here and interact with me. If you have any questions for me or just want to say what's up to me, once again, when I drop the link in the chat, be respectful to me, be respectful to the people in the chat as well. If you guys have any opinions on who you think the Chicago Bears should take at number 9 overall, if you have a question for me that you want me to answer live straight to your face, you guys can go ahead and come into the chat. So we'll do that for a couple minutes before we end tonight's live stream. But let me go ahead and drop the link in the chat. So if you guys want to come on and say what's up to me, the link is now in the chat. I will actually, I think I can pin star the link so you guys can come on and ask me any question that you guys want. Someone said this is a new Eberflus. Yeah, I think they finally got their guy. They got the guy that they're in love with. I think Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus are now a package deal. They got their guy in Caleb Williams. You can just put in a ticket now because Caleb Williams will be a Chicago Bear. Marco C says, who's going to draft the fastest wide receiver of the combine in your opinion? So what? Xavier Worthy is the fastest wide receiver in the 2024 NFL draft. Watch the Kansas City Chiefs get him. Like something tells me that Kansas City always gets like the super fast receivers, like the super fast guys, right? So it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if the Kansas City Chiefs get Xavier Worthy. Levante is absolutely right. He says, Flus and the beard, y'all welcome. Yeah, hey. Matt Eberflus came back with some swag. He has the full beard. He looks like a totally different person. Yeah, the Chiefs are going to get Xavier Worthy, and it's going to be ridiculous because he's going to be an absolute legend with Patrick Mahomes and that speed. It's going to be the second coming of Tyreek Hill for sure. Art Soda says, Keek, do you have another job or do you only do this? My main goal is to only do this, right? But I do work for the state of California as well, as an analyst. But yeah, my end goal is to hopefully someday just do full, I guess, content creation, Bears podcasting. I have dreams and ambitions to possibly someday make it onto the radio. So rather that's ESPN Chicago, or I know there's an ESPN Sacramento as well where I live. Just continue to do content creation because I truly love this. I have a bachelor's and master's degree in communications. So more mass communications. I've done a lot of radio stuff, like in terms of different sports, like play-by-play for men's and women's soccer, men's and women's basketball, pregame shows for football while attending Sacramento State. So yeah, my true passion is doing like radio stuff, podcasting, all that good stuff. So this is what I'm doing right now is my true passion. Thank you for the question. We have OG Lights Out in the chat. He says, bear down. Yes, bear down to you as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. And once again, the link is in the chat. If you guys wanted to join the stream, chat it up with me for a little bit. Kyle says, good for you, Keek. Thank you so much for the kind words. And yeah, this is my true passion. I tell my wife all the time that, there's some nights where I'm in here grinding it out until, almost midnight. I'm just trying to make the best content for you guys, put in the best effort I can. Obviously I've built my platform to a certain point where I'm really happy with it. I still expect it to grow. I have a lot of great content coming your guys' way as well in terms of doing live streams for the NFL draft, and even the content after the NFL draft is going to be insane. So I'm excited for you guys to be a part of that for sure. Once again, thank you guys so much for engaging with me on this Friday night. I appreciate you guys. You guys can be doing many different things here on a Friday night, but you guys chose to join me. And once again, I do want to remind you guys that I will be going live for the 2024 NFL draft. Super excited for that. I will be joined by my buddy, Joe. We've been best friends for almost over 25 years, or maybe it's been 25 years. So we've been friends for a long, long time. Marco C says, do you have a merchandise shop, Keek, on the mic? Yes, I do. I do have a merchandise shop where you guys can buy your merch. And I set it up a long time ago, but I need to figure out what it's actually called again, because yeah, I did set up a little thing where you guys can get merch, and I forgot the name of it already. I just, usually when I sell merch, I just go on my community page and I'll sell merch. But if you guys are interested in my merch, I can definitely get that information for you guys. I have hats, I have shirts, all that good stuff. All that good stuff. Kyle says, definitely going to watch your draft party. I do appreciate that. We may get a little rowdy in here. I may be taking shots. I'm not a big drinker, guys, but it's a celebration. The Bears have 2 top 10 picks. It's going to be the first round owned by the Chicago Bears. Art Soda says, it looks like you've been doing this for a while. Good job, Keekmeister. Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. I started doing content creation my sophomore year of high school. So I was a really, really young Keek on the mic, started off doing sports at my local high school. And it just kind of took off from there. I really fell in love with doing sports. And, I was like, what am I truly passionate about? And I'm passionate about the Chicago Bears. So I kind of went head first in it's been like 3 years since I started to Keek on the mic, a Chicago Bears podcast, and it's really taken off. Thanks to you guys. And we're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to grow and continue to get better in this content creation and to continue to make great content. Keek says, someone says, Keek, how confident are you that Caleb Williams is the real deal? I think as confident as any other Bears fans at this moment, right? I want to see it. I want to see how he does. I truly feel like there's no excuse for Caleb Williams. But what I can say this, and I've actually, the crazy thing is about this question is I actually defended Caleb Williams for the first time against one of my coworkers the other day. One of my coworkers came up at work and says, hey man, how you feeling about Caleb Williams? Because I feel like he's going to suck. He's going to be a bust. He's like, he played in the Pac-12. He can't play in the cold. Give me a list of things. I said, okay. I said, when you look at Caleb Williams' situation, his offensive line was terrible. I heard USC's defense was terrible, right? The only receiver that you can really name like a first-round talent is Jordan Addison. Brendan Rice and Taj Washington are also good receivers, but they're not going to be first-round talents in the National Football League. And I said, now look at his stats. Yes, he played in the Pac-12, but his stats do not lie. His stats do not lie, and you look at his arm talent and same NFL level arm talent, playmaking ability, off script throws, right? He can make any throw on the football field. I think he can be really, really good. And I think the reason why he can be really, really good because the Chicago Bears have really set him up for success. And that is the big thing. When you look at the history of the Chicago Bears, usually the rookies like Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields, they came into trash. Caleb Williams is coming into treasure. It's like when you look at the Chicago Bears, it's like really night and day of how they set up this roster for their rookie quarterback. The Chicago Bears are not your typical number 1 overall pick. The Bears went 7-10 last year, and they could easily went 10-7 if the coaching staff didn't blow 3 of those games. This is a very good football team. Very, very good football team. I'm actually confident. Marco says, I would love if you had have like a patch to put on my Bears jersey. Yeah, maybe we'll get it going. Maybe we'll get it going. Let me go ahead and let in my bro in here real quick. This is going to be the guy that's going to be on my live stream when we do an NFL draft party, so you guys can get a glimpse. He is a Chargers fan, so take it easy on him. We're actually depending on the Chargers a little bit, but it's all good. It's all good. Let me go ahead and let him in. Hey, what's going on, brother?
What's up, bro? Doing a little live stream right now?
Yeah. Just doing something light right now. Getting the people prepared. I actually got this live stream from him. He texted me and said, show me this tweet about the Bears kind of leaning towards Rome Odunze, which is smart. You're smart, but hey, we're depending on the Chargers. Hey, we need you to take Joe Alt.
You know how I feel about that. I want one of the receivers. I'm right with you.
I know. We both need receivers, especially you guys. You guys definitely need a receiver for sure.
Yep, I know. You guys fleeced us for Keenan Allen.
I don't know. Let's see how much his contract is worth, and when we extend him, it's probably gonna be a massive payday, and then we could talk about it. Someone said Chargers are gonna steal Joe Alt. Yeah, they can have Joe Alt. Hey,
it's possible. Yeah, it's possible.
Someone said Chargers suck. LOL. JK.
They do.
Hey, I don't know why we're talking. So are the Bears the last couple of years. We're in the same boat.
Hey, we gotta let the Bears fans know we're still dreaming that Chargers Bears Super Bowl one day.
Right. Yeah. Someone said, I'm not sure if they're talking to you. It says, man, he's huge. Is he a football player? He did play football. He did play a little college football. Yeah, used to be. Now he just has that dad bod because he's a dad. That's it.
Maybe my son will be.
Yeah. Maybe my daughter will be a football player too. She's pretty rough. She's a rough
Jane Halley will be on the same team.
Yeah. She'll be the first female, It is what it is, Someone said, excellent, great content, awesome setup. Yeah, it's actually gonna get better. I got a brand new sign coming for the NFL draft. I'm gonna keep some of the jerseys up, but I'm gonna change this whole setup in here. I'm excited for it. I got the setup ready to go for when Joe comes on and does the live stream with me for the NFL draft. Joe, I already let him know that we're probably gonna be drinking during the stream. We're gonna get a little rowdy in here.
It's gonna get a little crazy. Yeah, me and Bubba are excited. We've been talking about the draft, I think, every day this month so far.
Yeah, we're getting excited. I talk to him, my dad, my brother-in-law. And it's like we talk about the same shit, but it's just like
there's just so many. We just go through so many different scenarios of what can happen. That's why we just are like, well, what if this person takes this person, or what if this team takes this person?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I got a question. Someone asked me this question all the time, but Art Soda says, were you born in Chicago, or how did you become a Bears fan? No, I'm not. I was not born in Chicago. My great grandparents were both born and raised in Chicago. One was born and raised in the slums of Chicago, so like the South Side, and then my great grandma, she was born and raised in the rich side of Chicago, right at the time. But that's how they met. They told me a lot of stories about the city of Chicago, told me a lot of stories about how they used to go to the Bears games for like 20 cents and then got to be on the football field. And I just kind of fell in love with the history of the Chicago Bears. And it does help when you have a dad that's a Bears fanatic as well. And then it just kind of stuck. But thanks for the question.
Yeah. I think your dad's the biggest Walter Payton fan there is.
Yeah, my dad is that's why my dad's a Bears fan, because he's a huge Walter Payton fan. He actually got he got to witness a Bears Super Bowl win, which we can't relate to. So
right.
We cannot relate. All right. Someone has a question for you. Yeah, we have a couple questions for you, actually. Maybe you can give us some insight on this. The same guy asked, yeah, what do you think about Harbaugh? I know we have a lot of conversations, but you can give your input here.
I think Jim Harbaugh is a great hire, probably the best hire the Chargers have ever had, My expectations are pretty low this year. I mean, Harbaugh's been a winner everywhere he goes. So, I mean, hopefully he can turn the Chargers franchise around this year. You know, I mean, he has a plan, and losing Keenan Allen really hurt me as a Chargers fan, but I mean, I got to just follow this guy's plan. He's won everywhere he's went. So that's what I'm hoping for, is just for the Chargers to be a winning organization.
Yeah, I told you this. I feel like this year's gonna be like kind of like just creating that culture that he wants to build, and then from there, I think that's when you have your quarterback. So that's a good thing, right? It could be worse. You could not have your quarterback and the coach, right? So
yeah, I mean, Harbaugh said the other day, he said this is the best job he's ever come into. So I mean, he has a plan for Herbert. We don't need a quarterback, which is the luxury of being the top 5 pick in the draft. We could take whoever we want. So
right.
We'll see how things shake out.
Exactly. Someone has another question for you. I guess this is for you. Someone said, would you trade Justin Herbert for the number 1 pick and a bunch of picks?
Never.
Never
ever. I would never trade Justin Herbert.
You don't think Caleb Williams is generational?
He's good. Caleb Williams is a good quarterback. He's just not. I couldn't see myself restarting at quarterback when I know how good Justin Herbert already is. You know what I mean?
Or could be, can still get to, right?
Especially with Harbaugh now,
Right. We haven't seen him with Harbaugh.
Yeah, I would probably, I don't know. I couldn't do it. Not if I was the GM.
Yeah, that would be crazy, actually, if they pulled that trigger. Let's say they got rid of Herbert and drafted McCarthy.
I think my time as a Chargers fan would come to an end if that happened. Honestly,
would you chug a whole bottle of alcohol on the stream?
I'm gonna need like 10 shots in a row. I'm gonna have to have you line it up, bro, right there on the table, and I'm just gonna take 10 back to back. Yeah,
bam, bam, bam. Yeah, it would be
I don't know. That's a tough question. I couldn't do it personally.
Someone also wants to ask you, if all the hype that Harbaugh gives JJ McCarthy is legit, how do you view JJ McCarthy? You think he's worth like a top 5-10 pick in the draft, or what? What's going on with him?
I think the thing with McCarthy is he probably has, more NFL experience maybe over the other quarterbacks that are going to get taken, just because he's learning from Jim Harbaugh, and Jim Harbaugh is a quarterback coach.
Right.
So I feel like he's probably not per se a top 5 pick, in my opinion. I don't think he has, all the traits as a top 5 pick, but I could see why teams would take him in the top 5 because of, of his knowledge of the game. I mean, he did go 15-0 and win a national championship and in college football, which isn't easy, like that's not easy at all, So I mean, I think McCarthy's good. I mean, would I spend a top 5 pick on him? Probably not. But if you need a quarterback, I mean, you got to take a chance, right?
Yeah, how would you rank the quarterbacks in this draft class? Like 1, 2, 3, and like we could say 4. Top 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'd probably go for sure Caleb Williams number 1, which we said earlier, and then I have Drake May over Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
And then this is gonna surprise people. I probably have McCarthy over Jaden Daniels. Yeah, I think Jaden Daniels gets a little too much credit.
Yeah.
But that's just, I don't think he would have been a top 5. I think if Jaden Daniels had came out last year, he wouldn't have been a top 5 pick.
Yeah, for sure. I think when you look at Jaden Daniels, he's only had one good year, right? And he's had more talent.
Yeah.
So
he definitely had more talent than McCarthy.
It makes sense. It really does. It makes a whole lot of sense. You want, and that's why I keep telling about Caleb Williams that the production was always there, rather he had weapons or not.
I'm not really a Jaden Daniels guy, honestly, I would say. But I think for sure Caleb Williams is a clear-cut number 1. Drake May number 2 if I had to pick a second one, and then I'd probably say McCarthy then Daniels.
See, I gotta let you know, bro, this is why when you're doing sports radio or podcasting, when you have an opinion like that, right? People are gonna start questioning you.
That's all right. Hey,
someone wants to know. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone has a different opinion, you know?
Yeah, someone wants to know why Drake May over Jaden Daniels.
I think Drake May just has the better he's the more better, how do you say it? Better tangibles, I'd probably say, than,
Okay.
Jaden Daniels for what you're looking for in an NFL-ready quarterback. I mean, he has the size, you know, definitely has that advantage over Jaden Daniels. Um, Arm strength, he has that over Jaden Daniels for sure. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can compare. You know, I feel like
Yeah.
nowadays when people look at quarterbacks, at least the way I look at quarterbacks is different than others. You know, like I don't really look at athleticism
Yeah.
as being like a top trait in a quarterback. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
I,
right,
I
right.
want my quarterback's supposed to pass the ball. You know, like I
For
like
sure.
a running quarterback that can scramble. You know,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I just don't see how athleticism always outshines the tangibles you're really looking for in a quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's what we have to be careful about now when evaluating quarterbacks. I think, Drake May and Jaden Daniels are different types of quarterbacks.
Yeah,
I think Drake May can make any throw on the football field. Obviously, he has a size. Obviously, Jaden Daniels also has a size as well, and he's a dual threat guy. You have to prepare for him.
yeah,
Um, but when you look at the quarterbacks this year, it's definitely Caleb Williams and then the rest.
yeah.
Caleb Williams is kind of like
It's
he's Caleb Williams is like on his own planet right now, and Jaden Daniels, depending on, and here's the thing that sucks for both Jaden Daniels and Drake May, they're going to shitty situations.
yeah.
The Patriots and Commanders are not good situations,
Yeah, no, for sure.
so that's why these quarterbacks,
Patriots are probably a little worse, you know,
you
but
know what I mean. But it's like
yeah,
it's just, and someone has a good point. No college quarterback is NFL ready. That and we know that. But you can
yeah,
definitely help you can definitely help your rookie quarterback, groom them better, and that's what the Bears did. Right?
right.
You got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, all the other weapons. Right? The defense is going to be top 10 as soon as going into next season. Right? And
Yeah,
it's just like when you look at the Washington Commander situation, you look at the Patriots, they're in rebuilds.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I don't really necessarily see, you know, that those situations being completely ready for a quarterback to come in and change their franchise around, especially, you know, with the divisions they play in. You know, those aren't easy divisions to go play in.
yeah. I think the only thing, and this is a good argument. This is a good argument for Jayden Daniels.
Yeah,
You have to realize where he played. The
yeah, that's
SEC
true.
is that's no easy task. Whether he had one
Yeah,
good year or not, like when you compare where each quarterback played, Jayden Daniels probably had the best competition compared
yeah.
even to Caleb Williams, the
Oh
Pac-12.
yeah, for
You're playing
sure. Yeah,
Colorado, right?
yeah,
No offense, but
yeah,
at the end of the day, Caleb Williams and the other guys, they just showed more consistency
yeah.
to
No,
me.
Jaden Daniels had a great year.
Mhm.
Great year. I'm not putting that against him at all. I just
Right, right.
like I said, I never really saw him as a top quarterback is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
someone said that we need to someone said we need to do a mock draft together. Yeah, Joe and I will probably hop on pretty early. We'll probably hop on pretty early on draft night, and we'll probably have a
Yeah.
little mock draft ready for you guys.
Yeah, we could try to do something. It's hard to really, you know, mock other teams when, you know, we're so me and Bubba are really just focused on, you know, the Bears and the Chargers most of the time. But
Yeah,
I mean,
we're really knowledgeable about we're knowledgeable
yeah,
about football in general, right? But we're kind of just
yeah,
focused on our teams, and we kind of know the Chargers. I already told Joe this the other day. The draft really starts with the Chargers.
yeah,
The Cardinals and Chargers are the ones that are going to start the draft. We already know it's going to be quarterback, quarterback, quarterback. But then at 4, it's like, okay, Cardinals trade down, and then that's really going to affect what the Chargers do. Like, okay, now you have
yeah.
all 3 receivers on the board,
Right,
all
right,
3
yeah.
of them.
So
You know what I mean?
yeah,
You guys are in a good situation. So
yeah. I think really the debate for the number 5 pick, if all 3 receivers are on the board, I think like I said, I think it's going to come down to either Marvin Harrison or Malik Neighbors, and I don't really know which one we're going to prefer. You know, I'm happy with either one. I'm
you know
happy with
what?
either one.
I'm not gonna say the full word, but F the Chargers, man. I'm gonna take a couple of shots. When you guys take Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm gonna be like, that
What do
could
you
have
mean?
been us.
We helped you guys out. We gave you Keenan Allen.
I don't care. I want a Marvin Harrison. Everyone knows I want a Marvin Harrison, but
I
hey,
know you did. I know you did.
I'll be happy for you
Yeah,
guys, man. I'll
I
be
know you
happy for
did.
you guys, man. That's the only team. I think that's the only team I really support, like fully, is probably the Chargers because of you.
Yeah,
And probably a little bit of the Broncos because of brother-in-law and
yeah,
Steelers now. But my sisters are Steelers fans, so I still
yeah.
support them anyways. But But man, I really,
even more now that Justin Fields is over there.
yeah, yeah. I hope he does well. But hey, that motherfucker not my quarterback no more. I gotta move on. I gotta move on. So let's go ahead. Let's see. All right. So Art Soto says, "Yo, Keith, can you give my daughter Brianna Soto a shout out? She is next to me. What's going on, Brianna? Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you being a fan of Keek on the mic. That's awesome that you actually listen with your dad. Most girls not interested in listening to sports or sports podcasts, right? So I definitely appreciate you. Maybe if you enter the giveaway, maybe you'll get lucky and I can send you a t-shirt or Keek on the mic hat. I think that'd be cool if you can rep at your school or wherever you go. So thank you so much for tuning in, and shout out to you. All right.
I love Keek on the mic, and I'm not even a Bears fan.
Keek on the mic, Keek on the mic. I'm gonna start rapping. I'm gonna start rapping my intro myself. I'm gonna come on and be like, Keek on the mic, Keek on the mic. Oh man. Let's see. Yeah, Philip's in the chat. Philip's one of my really, really loyal listeners. He says that number 9 pick is definitely an interesting for polls to make. Too many scenarios to go through. Yeah, and that's the truth. I'm telling you, if the Cardinals trade down and you guys take Joe Alt, the Bears are in a golden situation because we're almost guaranteed, unless someone trades up, to take one of those receivers, we're guaranteed to at least get one of them.
Yeah, one of them's for sure going to be there for the Bears.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, one of them's for sure going to be there for the Bears.
I think it's Odunze. I think Rome Odunze is the one that's going to fall. I think he is the third best receiver.
I feel like the only thing Bears would have to worry about if for one of the receivers not being there is if the Cardinals end up trading back, then trading back up with Atlanta maybe to jump in front of you guys to get
the last
Odunze,
receiver
since they missed out on Harrison and Neighbors. Yeah, that
would piss me off. That would really piss me off. Especially if Odunze, like let's say Joe Alt's gone. Let's say everyone that we want's gone, and that was the last person that we wanted. Then we trade back, and hey, I'm going to pound the table for this guy. Not only because he's a Sacramento guy, but he's a fucking beast. Joe and I talked about him.
Yeah.
Latu. Remember that name. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys. Like that dude next to Montez Sweat, it would be a
I like Latu. He's an animal. He's an animal.
Like, forget the neck injury. Yeah. Don't look at the injury in 2021. Look at his production the last 2 years. He was one of the best in terms of production the last 2 years in college football. Hey,
that's another hot take we had earlier. We have him as our best pass rusher.
You're damn. I said that in my video. I said I ranked Dallas Turner ahead of Latu only because of the injury.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. You can't say anything else bad about him. You can't.
Yeah. It's a toss-up, between him and Dallas Turner. Yeah.
And someone said, how did Latu's medicals check out? He cleared them. At the combine, they were clear.
What was his 40 time?
Oh. Let me take a look.
Wasn't like a 4.5?
He was slower. I think it was like a 4.6. He's slower,
4.6?
But he's still,
that's not terrible though for an edge rusher.
But people, honestly, the 40 time doesn't matter for an edge rusher.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Yeah.
It's that 10-second split that you want to look at.
Yeah.
What's their 10-second split? Because it's always about that first step.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
You're not looking at the 40-yard dash unless you're a fucking special teamer.
Right.
You really want to think about it. Like, Isaiah Fry, the guy that comes on my show.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said the combine doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It's about
a waste of time. It's entertainment.
Yeah. It's all about what you can do on the field.
Right. It's all entertainment for fans. Bro.
Shit, Keenan Allen ran a 4.6.
Yeah. Well, Keenan Allen's always been, and Rome Odunze, I think, runs like a 4.4, 4.5, but they said they just hella good route runner.
Yeah, hey, if you can get open, it doesn't matter about your 40 time.
So, Joe, I do want to ask you. They said Odunze is like a bigger version of Devontae.
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy if you really think about it.
That is crazy. Yeah, if he turns out anything like Devontae Adams, I mean, the Bears are set at receiver for years to come.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, if this dude, because Caleb Williams, he aspires, he looks up to Aaron Rodgers. So we can form a Rodgers that Adams duo in Chicago. Wouldn't that be ironic?
That would be. Yeah, that I'm telling you, the Bears offense is going to be scary.
Yeah, and it's funny because you can tell people are excited about the Bears being good because it's good for the NFL when the Bears are good.
Right.
They make more money.
Yeah.
They do.
This is your guys' chance, I feel like, the Vikings are going to have a down year.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like Caleb Williams is the guy, to finally get you guys over the hump to beat the Packers.
Yeah.
And then you guys already proved you could beat the Lions last year, so it's really no different this year.
Yeah, I just got to get over that Packers
Yeah.
hurdle at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, So
Gotta get over
if you guys can at least do that, you guys are going to be in a prime spot in the division.
Yeah, and I agree. Yeah, for sure. All right, let's keep looking. Yeah, Latu has skills for sure. Someone said Rome Odunze ran a 4.3. If that's the case, that's insane.
Ooh, I didn't know that. I must have missed that. I missed that. I didn't really get to watch too much of the combine, honestly.
Yeah, someone said, I do know that he's 6'3", 6'4", bigger guy, like 215. So if he ran a 4.3, that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone said, Keek, thoughts on Latu's neck concerns? I don't think it's a concern at this point. I know they say that neck injuries kind of like linger, but
when did he get hurt?
2021.
Okay, so
he missed a whole season in 2021 because of that injury.
So it's quite a few years ago, though. Now, so
that's what I'm saying, and he put together two productive years after that neck injury.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I really like Latu.
Yeah, he's from Jesuit. I think that's why we kind of like him too, because he's from Jesuit, Sacramento area. Yeah. So, I think he'd be fine. Someone said the media like ESPN is backtracking already to Vikings got Sam Darnold. Yeah, they're gonna. That's what ESPN does. They just backtrack.
I would love to see how the Vikings play out this year with Sam Darnold.
Is that who they got for real?
Yeah, they got Sam Darnold. Yeah,
he's a Viking, so they're gonna have Sam Darnold and JJ McCarthy.
Possibly, yeah. Unless
these motherfuckers are really gonna trade up for these motherfuckers are really gonna trade up for JJ McCarthy, bro. That's worse than us trading up for Mitch. Let's be honest.
Hey, whatever makes Justin Jefferson come available, let it happen.
Hey, I don't care what people say. Like, and I even said this about JJ McCarthy.
Yeah,
the dude is a winner, but look at who he had around him. Had the best coach in the nation, or at least one of them. He had a stacked Michigan defense, at least.
Yeah,
Blake Corn,
he did.
Wilson, the good offense.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. How do you feel about I think it's the kid from Texas, Byron Murphy, D tackle, 3 tech.
Byron Murphy. It looks like he's been climbing up the rankings because
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're
he's pretty good. I've been seeing him fly up to like in the top 20. I've been seeing him like to the Rams and to some other teams. He's pretty good. He's how do you say it? I like him. He's better than the other D tackle that's coming out of Texas.
I think he's versatile. Versatile.
Yeah,
play along defensive line. But we just got Javon Dexter though and Zach Pickens. So I'm not sure if we're gonna invest in a 3 tech.
Are they putting him over Jerzon Newton now?
The Illinois guy?
Yeah,
I think so. I think he's flying. Well, they're both great players, but I don't know right now. I don't know if I would take him at 9. Maybe trade back and take him.
Probably a little true. Yeah, probably trade back. Yeah.
Yeah, someone said it's actually kind of funny. Dave said, random draft trade thought. Micah Parsons for our number 9 and second next year. Cowboys number 24. Cowboys are desperate for a new quarterback since Dak is probably not re-signing.
It's funny. I was actually going to ask you about that because I seen on Twitter that the Cowboys' patience for Micah Parsons was thin. Like, you want to talk about an all-in offseason for the Bears? I think I would immediately accept that trade for Micah Parsons for the 9th pick.
I think at this point, I think we would go from worst to Super Bowl or bust.
Dude, oh my God, Micah Parsons, yeah.
With Montez Sweat?
Dude, oh my God.
It would be insane.
Micah Parsons is better than whoever you can get at the number 9 pick.
That's how you look at it. And that's how it's funny. Yeah. You know how the Bears only have like 4 picks, right? So basically what they did, they said, okay, this is technically the Bears draft, and Keenan Allen's our 4th round pick. They said Montez Sweat's our 2nd round pick. They said Ryan Bates is our 5th round pick, the guard and center that we got from Buffalo. And then you got Caleb Williams at 1. You're gonna get another blue chip player at 9. They're like, stop complaining about the 4 picks.
Right.
You know what I mean? Technically, your draft is outstanding, Chicago.
Because all those players are better right now than
any of the guys
who you're gonna get. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not talking about long term, but we're saying right now, if you want to win now, those are better than any rookie.
I think Bubba would do backflips on the live stream if the Bears traded for Micah Parsons right now.
I probably would. I'd probably get his jersey. And I don't like getting jerseys of players that are not drafted Bears,
Yeah.
but he is a beast. And I told my dad, and my dad and I have had conversations about this over and over again. I was like, the Chicago Bears need a draft. I'm not going to say the word, but we need you know what I want to say? We need those dogs. I'm going to use
Yep.
that word instead of using another word. We need some of those guys on our team.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams is that guy. Michael Parsons is that guy. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't pass the Bears. I mean, you guys will make an aggressive trade if you need to.
Absolutely. I agree. Philip says, Keek, flip a coin. Does Poles pick a defensive player or offensive player on what this year's number 9 pick, including trade downs? If he trades down, I think it's going to be a defensive player. I truly believe that. If he trades down. But if he stays put, I think it's going to be offense. Rather it's lineman or receiver. White Ghost says, we can't block or pass rush Green Bay. Take a receiver at 9 for what exactly? Yeah, I guess that is a great point, right? You need to build in the trenches. I think that's also smart. Once again, Joe Alt's there. If he's there, that would be a good option. If Dallas Turner's there, Jared Verse, Leatu Latu, right? Is also a smart pick. So we'll have to see what the Bears do, though. Once again, I do appreciate you guys engaging with me. Try my best to get to all your guys' questions and comments. Once again, I do really, 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 really appreciate you guys engaging with me on this Friday live stream. Doug says, Keek, how about Gerald Everett? Can he contribute? Yeah, I think Gerald Everett, especially as a tight end too, is a very athletic tight end, a pass catching threat as well. I think he's going to be very good with Caleb Williams and, Cole Kmet, all the other weapons that we have on this Chicago Bears offense. OG Lights Out says F Green Bay. Yes, it's always F Green Bay in the chat. Thank you so much for that. Dave says, what are your thoughts on Adam Rank saying DJ Moore is a top 5 receiver? I wouldn't go that far, but top 10 for sure. Yeah, I think he's definitely top 10. I know there's a lot of really, really good receivers, but I feel like if he can have another good year, then yes, I think we can start having that conversation about DJ Moore being a top 5 receiver in the National Football League. White Ghost says, I hated your introduction song, but it has grown on me. Now I love the beat. Gives me Fresh Prince of Bel-Air vibes. Yeah, I appreciate that. It grows on everyone. I know a lot of people have come to me and said, hey, Keek, you got to get rid of that intro. It's hideous. I don't like it. Right. But then, a couple of weeks later, they're like, oh, people usually comment on my shows like Keek on the mic. Right. So appreciate that. Someone said, I thought last year's draft was suspenseful. I can't wait until this is over. Yeah, me too. I can't wait until we finally put this to bed. Someone said, keep it to keep my intro. Yeah, I'll keep it for sure. Someone said intro is awesome. Thank you, Philip, for that. Someone said, it's going to be an exciting night, Philip, and fun with Keek's draft extravaganza. Yeah, for example, once again, I'm going to be giving away 2 Chicago Bears draft caps, some not draft, but Keek on the mic hats, Keek on the mic shirts as well. Let's make sure you guys come and tune in for that. It's going to be a really, really fun night. And the guy that just came on my stream, that's my best friend, my brother for life. We have grown up. We have grown up with each other. We've been best friends since 2 years old. So over 20 something years now. Yeah, definitely love the guy. He's going to be the one joining me for the draft night, first round of the draft. Kyle says, will you be bummed if they trade 9 back out of the first? Yeah, it just depends. It just depends on the situation. It depends who is there at 9. If Joe Alt and Rome Odunze are there at 9 and they trade it back, I would be a little bit bummed. But if they trade back and we get a guy like Leatu Latu or Jared Verse or Jackson Powers Johnson, I think that would be fine as well. Philip says, I'll be here with cold beers in hand. Go Bears. Yeah, bring your beers, drink your beer, drink your alcoholic beverages. I know we'll be doing the same thing. We're going to probably have some wings and pizza on set as well. So we're going to have a good time. Doug says, Keek on the mic swag. Nice. That would be the cherry on top for the draft night. Yeah, especially if you guys win. I think that would be awesome. This is one of the hats I have. I have a couple of different hats as well. I might have a Keek on the mic shirt that we'll be wearing, that Joe and I will be wearing during draft night as well. So it's gonna be fun. White Ghost says Poles will get the draft right. I think I truly do. I believe that. I think Ryan Poles is the right man for the job. Art Soda says Joe seemed like a cool dude. Yeah. Joe is an awesome dude, awesome human being. Yeah, like I said, we grew up with each other. Went to all the same schools, preschool, elementary school, high school. We didn't go to the same college though. But we always stuck by each other. Really cool guy. Love the guy. Yeah, Joe's gonna be an amazing co-host for the draft night. I know that I have some more content I want to do with him as well. Yeah, this hat is it's actually rubber. So the logo is rubber on the hat. So it's really nice hat, really nice, well-made hats. And I have 3 different types of hats. I have a white and blue one with my logo on it, this blue one with the logo on it, and then I also have one with my figure on it as well. So I definitely gonna probably be giving out a whole lot of hats. Someone said, cool vibes, great co-host for draft night. Yeah, and like I said, I'm not a big drinker, but I will be throwing a couple of shots back during the draft night. I think it's going to be just a really chill vibe. I'm on draft night, trying to get a lot of people in here. So make sure you share and let people know that I will be going live. I'm going to be giving away some prizes. So really looking forward to that. Yeah, it's a high quality hat. This hat, I made them very, very high quality because I'm a big hat guy. You guys always see me with a hat on my live streams or on my videos. So I wanted to make sure that I was getting the best of the best for sure. Once again, Bears fans, I do appreciate all for you guys being here. It's been over an hour. Let me answer this question before I do hop off for the night. Mikey Mendez in the chat says, what's up, Keek? How's your Friday night? I just put on the Selfless game. Draft night will be here in no time. Yes. How you doing, Mikey? I'm doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yes, I'm excited for draft night. All right. Someone said alcohol is bad for your kidneys when you drink too much. A few won't hurt yet. Absolutely not. It's a celebration. We're celebrating Caleb Williams and we're celebrating hopefully Rome Odunze or another really good blue chip player on the Chicago Bears. But once again, Bears fans, love every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in on this Friday night live stream. Thank you guys so much for the engaging with me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button before you leave today as well. But I hope you guys have a really, really, really good weekend. And I'll be back for some more Bears content right here on the podcast. See you guys later. Bear down, guys.